Hello, how are you? My name is Ting. I am your NLP trainer from Wissen Solutions. And today I am Brazil's friends. Now, anyway, we come back to teaching of NLP. Today I would like to talk about one of the more complex skill, which we call anchor. We call it anchoring. Now, why anchoring is so important, yeah? I remember a time when I was in my first year in universities, and one of my friends, he's a scout when he was in his secondary school, and he likes to go for outdoor activities. And I remember the day he went up with his friend to climb the mountains, and then accident happened. And then he just passed away like that. And we all went to the hospital to pay the last respect. And on the way home, when I reached my rooms and I start to play the music, I switched on the radio. The first songs that came out from the radio, actually I linked that song with the incidents. How do I link? I do not know. Everything is very unconscious. I just link my friend's incident with that song. Therefore, whenever I remember my friends, that song will play in my head. Or when I listen in the radio or somebody played that particular song, I will remember my friend. So, my friend incident and that song actually link together. In our NLP or in psychology, we call this as an anchor. And this anchoring has been made perfect and they have been made famous by one young Russian psychologist, Ivan Pavlov. I think if you know about psychology, you definitely know about this Ivan Pavlov. His very famous experiment, which he published that back then in early 19something, in the journal, in a medical journal, about his experiments of ringing the bell, giving the food at the same time to the dog, to his pet, the dog. Yeah. Every time he do like this. After a few times, he discovered when he rings the bell, and then that dog actually salivated. This has been made very famous. This is a response stimulus. Yeah, stimulus response. That's why we hear something, there will be another stimulus response. Like for example, the third example that I give here is like if we have the kids, and then if the father is a very strong figure at home, he play no jokes with the children. All the children fear about the father, right? And when he came home from work, the children was playing around in the room. Once they hear the sound of the key or the door has been opened, what do? I think you have guessed well. Everyone will stop whatever they play. They will just keep silence and then they go to their whatever things that they want, the father wanted them to do. Maybe like doing study or doing some other things. But all the playful things actually they stop. So now, they actually relate. This is what we say. It's a very positive response and can be very negative response. Now, in the very positive response, yeah, I respect one of my primary school teacher very, very much. He was my form teacher when I was just went in the first day to the primary school. He is the first teacher came into my class. Therefore, I linked it together because at that time I'm just a small little boy. We have scared to go to the new environment in the school. Therefore, the first teacher that came in, actually I kind of have the comfort and I link him to the very good and to the very comfort and confident situations. Therefore, whenever I have been problems, I just look for him. So now, you see, if you are out there, you listen to my clips and then your work is actually doing sales. You are in the managerial positions like in unit trust, in MLM or in insurance industry. What is your characteristics? what is your image that you actually brought to your subordinate, or we call your agents, or whoever they come together, your co-worker, anybody. Whether you have project a good anchor, you have project a good image to them. Because that is very important. Because if you project yourself as a very motivating, and then is a kind of person that actually embrace them, and whenever they have a problem, the first person in their mind, the face appear is you. They are going to talk to you about their problems, and they will find very, very motivated when they talk to you. And as a manager out there, we need to build a team. That team is actually, we have the synergy together. We need to work together to achieve the goal. Especially now MCO is already May, middle of May. And then we have been going through 2 months time already passed. And we difficult to make sales, do sales, see people. What is your people feeling now? They may be aimless. They may have a lot of pressure, money problems, and then also the targets that they want to meet. And you, for this moment, what is your role as a manager? How do you play your cards? I say cards, it's like what you play about how you use yourself and play that role is actually very important for your subordinate, agents, or co-worker or business partner. Is very, very important. Yeah. So now they are actually in a very serious depression, or the emotion is very negative. And whenever you say it becomes a stimulus, it's an external stimulus, they will always link there. So if you give them encouragement, if you give them the motivations, then they will link you to motivations. Instead of you push them so hard and then you give them a lot of hard work, ask them to go out to work or anything, which you pressurize them. And they will link you to be a very pressurized manager. Therefore, friends, if we talk about the anchoring, it's neither good or bad. It's actually how we do. Because in psychology, everything is just a psychology. Yeah. So anchoring. Anchor. The situation for understanding about the theory is this is the two polar S and Y, and this is the intensity, and then this is the time. When there is an intensity of the emotion, actually it arises when there is a lot of pressure, then it comes out. Over the time, it actually comes up, and actually over time, they actually drop down. For example, yeah, if you are feel happy, the happiness is actually start to build. The happiness start to build slowly. Then friends come together, we talk, we drink whatever tea, coffee, then we talk, we eat tidbits. The happiness, the emotions start to build, and then it going up, then we stay very high, very happy, everybody jokes, everybody. So this is a very positive happiness moment. And then after that, then the moment start to reduce when some people need to leave, some people need to do some other things, or some people change the topics. And it actually drops. It's exactly the same for negative emotion as well. And when this intensity of the feeling is going up, and when you apply the stimulus, on the right timing, it actually forms an anchor. Therefore, it's very important for us to understand, yeah, if we want to build our team, they have been very hardworking and then they work very well, we have to put an anchor when they are in that situations. Yeah? So where are we going to put our anchor? Now, I would like to give an analogy. If we buy share, do we buy at top, highest point, or do we buy at the lowest? And when are we selling? We want to sell at the bottom or we want to sell at the highest? Needless to say, I know you also know the answer. We want to buy in the share at the lowest, and we want to sell at the highest. Now, when is the lowest and when is the highest? Actually, we do not know. We do not know. And then how do we know that this is the peak? Yeah? How do we know this is the peak? We actually have to be very consciously observe the people's facial expression, the body language, everything. We call it a sensory acuity. You need to have very sensitive acuity to observe that. Now, when the people start to have the intensity of the emotion, this start to come up, and you need to apply that anchor. An anchor, it can be applied using touching, which we call it the kinesthetic of the feeling, and it can be in voices, or even in visual. I look at you, I anchor it at you. Yeah, anchor. So every time I see you, that particular experience will come out. Like for example, let's say now in your brain, in your mind, you imagine Mr. Bean. Yeah? Either you imagine it's a cartoon figure or it's a real person. How do you feel about it? What did you see? What is the moment? What is the memory you actually relate Mr. Bean with you? Needless to say, it's actually all the happiness moment, all the funny moment. Yeah. My son used to imitate Mr. Bean when he was very young. So, we know the facial is very important. As a manager, we go out, all our subordinates see us, they feel very warm, they feel very happy. Then you are very successful because you make them feel that we are as a family member, and we go work and then do the goal, do the sale. Is we achieve the goal. It's not for one particular person, which is me as a boss or as a manager or as a business owner, but we actually do it for everyone. Everyone. Now, we know all those, and now here, when we apply the stimulus, we must be as possible as low. And how it can actually build up? And actually, you need to come to my class, because from here and here and here is all because of our observations. And then how we do the observation, there are a lot of observations which you need to pick up. Yeah? Therefore, anchoring we teach in my class is about the day 4. Because we need to have all the basic of all the techniques. And then when we come to anchoring, then we will roughly know, we will roughly see the changes in that person's, particularly in their emotion, then we can see. Then only we will apply. And then when we come to the peak, and then right after the peak, you will release. So here we say anchor on. And here is we call anchor off. Yeah? And we want to get the maximum of the stimulus effect. Therefore, this is the maximum stimulus effect. Instead of, we see them so happy, the emotion going very high, which is in the peak, and then after we release, so we will get drop. We will get the drop. We don't want. We want to get the maximum. From the bottom here, when we started, then we hit, then we anchor. And when you go up to the peak, and right after the peak, they start to reduce. It start to down. Then we release. Then we will get the maximum anchoring. So this is one of the techniques that is very important for the people out there. If you listen to me, whether you do sales, you can do the anchoring on your clients, so that next time whenever your client think or want to buy something, they will call you, and they see you, they look at you, they know that you have provided very good service. And then this is a very positive anchor. And unknowingly, yeah, we have a negative anchor as well. And that is another topic, and it's very important for us to release the negative anchor. So this is a very basic, this is a theory towards the anchor. And then of course how we do, we have a step-by-step process. And that step-by-step process have to come to the class. Yeah, because I cannot get a person here and then I do on all this and for you to learn. It's very difficult because the camera is only shoot from one direction and then you can't see total body language, the eye patterns or any facial changes or any minute movement of the muscle. We need to see all those in order for us to make a very correct and accurate assumptions. Yeah. Therefore, come to my class. Anchoring is one of the very powerful tools that we can use on anyone, and you will see amazing results when you have do this and master this. Every time you see somebody, you anchor it. You see somebody, you anchor it. And next time, whenever you go and see that person, you can bring the joy to that person. You can bring the happiness to that person. Of course. You can bring the negative emotion to that person. Therefore, the negative one, we need to release it, we need to let it go, we need to have another technique to release it. And positive one, I am going to teach you how to do, and then you will be using this technique daily, wherever you go. I am Ting, NLP trainer from Wissen Solutions, and I invite you to come to my class after the MCO. Thank you.